I want to tell you about two people who have the same story, same childhood, same wounds, same things that should never have happened to a child but did. Same early lessons about love and safety and worth that were all wrong. One of them is still living inside that story, performing, bracing, waiting for things to fall apart. Measuring every good thing by how long it is going to last before it is taken away. Still, underneath everything, a child standing in a doorway not sure what kind of day it is going to be. The other one made a decision, not a dramatic one, a quiet daily decision to look at what they were handed and ask, is this mine to keep? They did not erase the story, they grieved it honestly. They named the patterns, they stopped waiting for permission from people who were never going to give it, and then they began slowly to build something new, not on top of the wound, through it. Same story, two completely different lives. The only difference was what they decided to do with it. This is the final episode of the May series. And if you have stayed with us all month, this is where everything lands. Stay with me. Welcome back to Ife Random Reflections. I am Ife, and before we go anywhere, I want to say thank you. Not the polite kind, the kind that means something. What we have been doing in May is not light work, and you showed up for every part of it. If today is your first time here, welcome. I genuinely want you to go back and start from week 1 because this series is a complete journey. What we built this month is meant to be walked from the beginning, and everything is there waiting for you. If this series has meant something to you, please subscribe and share the whole month with someone who needs it. It is how more people find this space. Now let us close this month the right way. There is a difference between your story and your identity, and we have confused them for so long that separating them can feel almost impossible, but it is the separation that sets you free. Your story is what happened, your identity is who you are, your story is the environment you were placed in, your identity is the soul that lived through it, your story contains your wounds. Your identity is not defined by them. The problem is that when painful things happen to us early, we do not file them under things that happened. We file them under who I am. The child who was abandoned does not think my parent left. They think I am the kind of person who gets left. The child who was criticized does not think that adult was harsh. They think I am not enough. The child who was overlooked does not think I was in a family that did not see me well. They think I am invisible. And then we spend decades, sometimes our entire adult lives, living as though those conclusions are true, making choices from them, protecting them, curating our lives in ways that confirm them. Because the story, painful as it is familiar. And familiar, as we talked about in week 2, feels like safe. So even when something better comes close, something in you pulls back. Something in you says, I know how this ends, and you write the ending before it even has a chance to begin. That is not weakness, that is a nervous system doing exactly what it was trained to do. But the protection that kept you safe in a dangerous environment becomes the prison in a safe one. Those conclusions are not your identity. They are your wound's best attempt to explain a confusing world to a child who needed an explanation. You are not a child anymore, you have better information. And you get to look back at those conclusions and say, that was the only story available to me then. It is not the only story available to me now. Nobody tells you the full truth about your pain having a purpose, because that phrase can feel like a spiritual bypass, like a way of making what happened to you sound acceptable. It was not acceptable. God did not arrange it. He grieves it. What happened to you was not His design for your life, and He does not require you to call it good. But there is a difference between endorsing pain and redeeming it. Redemption is not making something okay. It is taking what was meant to diminish you and refusing to let it have the final word. It is looking at the wound and asking not why did this happen, but what am I going to build in its place? The person who grew up never feeling seen becomes someone who makes others feel deeply seen. Because they know what it costs to be invisible, they know what it feels like to be in a room and not matter, and they refuse to be the kind of presence that replicates that in someone else's life. The wound became the compass. The person who was told they were too much creates space for people who have heard the same thing. The rejection became the room they build for others. And sometimes it looks like this. Someone sitting in front of a camera sharing the parts of themselves they were never supposed to say out loud. Because they know that somewhere someone is watching who needs to know they are not alone in it. The silence they were raised in becomes the conversation they refuse to stop having. That is what it means to use your story, not to perform it, not to wear it as a badge, but to let it make you better at being human. To let it give you a specific kind of wisdom that only comes from having lived through something and chosen not to be destroyed by it. The new chapter is not built in a dramatic moment. There is no stage where the old self steps off and the healed self walks on. The new chapter is built in the ordinary, in the small daily choices that nobody photographs. It is built every time you catch the old response and choose a different one. Every time the familiar pattern rises in you and you pause long enough to ask whether you want to go there again. It is built in the moment you say sorry to your child for getting it wrong instead of pretending it did not happen. In the moment you rest without punishing yourself for it. In the moment you receive love and actually let it land instead of deflecting it. In the moment you tell the truth about how you are feeling instead of performing okay. These are not small moments. These are the moments where cycles end and new ones begin. These are the moments your children will carry, not the grand speeches, the ordinary moments where they watched you choose differently. Where they watched you be human and still be good. Because this work was never just for you, it has never been just for you. Every pattern you name is a pattern your children do not have to inherit. Every waiting room you leave is a room they will never be placed in. Every time you give yourself permission from the inside, you are teaching them that their worth is not conditional. That they do not have to earn their place in the world. You are not just healing yourself, you are changing what gets passed forward. You are deciding what wholeness looks like for the generation that comes after you, the legacy of emotional honesty, of love that does not come with hidden conditions. That is the most significant thing a human being can build, and it starts in the private moments that nobody sees. I want to speak directly to whoever came into this month carrying something heavy. You came in not fully sure what you were walking into, you just knew there was something underneath the surface of your life that had not been fully seen, something from before. Something you had been managing instead of healing, and you did the work. You sat with the child you were and let yourself actually feel what it cost to grow up the way you did. You looked at the cycles and named them instead of spiraling in shame. You stopped waiting for permission and started giving it to yourself. You are not your story. You have never been your story. You are what you do with it, and what you have been doing this month is already the new chapter. You have already begun. Like this video, subscribe if you have not already. Share the entire May series with someone who needs it, and drop a comment telling me what this month unlocked for you. I will be reading every single one. I want to close with Jeremiah 29 verse 11. I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future. That was spoken to a people in exile. People who were far from home, wondering if their story was already written, and the answer that came back was no. Where you are is not where you are staying. What you came from is not what you are limited to. The wound is real, but it is not the last word. The patterns were real, but they are not permanent. The waiting is over. And the person you are becoming is already here. They have been here all along. Go live like it. I am Ife Random. Thank you for being here all month. I will see you in the next one.